better of the man against him, and when they come off the field, that's the thing I'll look at. How did I play today? See, has the team won? How has the team done very well? How did I play against such and such? How did I play against that brilliant Brazilian who was in the World Cup?
And they look like Brazil tonight. That's the good news.
Yeah, you associate
in
Brazil
that famous
with that
yellow, blue and white. That's
yeah.
I mean, there should almost be a rule that everybody has to change when they play Brazil, shouldn't they? They can play in yellow shirts. That's how we expect to see them. There's something strange about watching them in the blue, Jerry, wasn't there, on Sunday?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, I'm lucky enough to have Rivellino's shirt sitting at home,
have you really?
which I treasure, from when I captained England against Brazil back in '76. And, you know, occasionally I'll put it on now and then, you know, to have a few pictures taken with it. My left foot doesn't get any better, though, Richard, that's the problem.
Well, we'll pause at the moment for the national anthem, sung this evening by the Howells School Choir, who are from Denby. We'd love to have had a camera down there pitch side to get in amongst the atmosphere, but sadly we're not allowed tonight. And we're ready. Live on Sky Sports tonight, it's Japan against Brazil, Goodison Park the venue, and our match commentators Gordon Milne and Martin Tyler.
Thank you, Richard. A delightful opening ceremony to the credit of the choir from the Howells School. A delay which is a credit to the pulling power of Brazil and to the football love of the folk of Merseyside.
Number 15.
A really good crowd on a not-so-good night. Except if you happen to be playing, Gordon.
Oh, perfect, yeah. I mean, the players will be relishing this on both sides, and as I said, maybe it does favour the forwards, but again, if you can play, these are the conditions, and we say again, Martin, the atmosphere is tremendous. Compared to Saturday, this is a different ball game.
Looks as though the Japanese have brought out individual pennants for their Brazilian counterparts, emphasising the tie-up between the two nations. There is a very large Japanese population in Brazil, and in Japan, of course, there's been this huge Brazilian influence on the football development that has been coming on at such an impressive pace. Both sides making a couple of changes from the teams that we saw earlier in this competition.
To Japan, number 1, Kojima. Number 4, Ihara. Number 17, Umbro.
The hero with the Japanese goal at Wembley, having been the unlucky player to deflect in Darren Anderton's drive.
Number 2, Narahishi.
And he will play as the sweeper tonight.
Number 6,
Brazil's goal scorer at Villa Park. A controversial character, Edmundo, who missed out on the World Cup because of his temperament. They couldn't rely on his ability to control himself as well as they can rely on his ability to control the football. But he was impeccable in his behaviour against Sweden on Sunday and took his goal with aplomb.
Number 7, Moriyatsu. Number 16, Fudukama.
We've got officials on duty tonight and on Thursday at Ellen Road, all from Scotland, with Jim McCluskey, tonight's referee. Well, Japan delighted with their performance at Wembley, though very disappointed with the lack of reward for it. Brazil's message after that show of skill against Sweden is that they can do much better. If they do, Japan better watch out tonight. The ground staff have obviously worked long and hard on the pitch, which certainly had wear and tear at the end of the Premiership season here at Goodison Park. It's in very good condition. Both teams appreciative of the surface that they've been given to play on tonight. And finally, we are underway. At the home of the FA Cup holders, the World Cup winners defend the goal to the left. And Roberto Carlos, who really did catch the eye with a throw there to Marcio Santos, is back in the squad. Jorginho. It's been a pretty sporting tournament so far, but on this very slippery top, I think one can forgive one or two mistimed tackles. Juninho, his first involvement. Cross from Dunga's a bit too long. Dunga, who has signed a contract in Japan, there's no denying that there's very, very big money on offer to Brazilians, particularly the home-based Brazilians. Dunga, of course, has been playing in Germany. For all the tradition in Brazil, some of their domestic players really don't earn a great deal of money, so even at a relatively tender age like Leonardo, who's one of the substitutes tonight, who went perhaps to the detriment of his career to Japan, you can understand with the lure of the yen. Zinho. Doriva brought in for just his second cap tonight. Two experienced characters to work with, Aldair and Marcio Santos, in that trio at the centre of Brazil's defending. Ronaldo with the backfield. Jorginho is allowed to get well forward in this system, as Roberto Carlos does on the other side. This is great stuff from Brazil, and it nearly sneaked in at the near post. Kojima, the debutant goalkeeper, covered his near post in the end, and he'll be pleased he kept that out.
Yeah, good start for him, that, Martin. I mean, that was the first little flurry that we saw from the Brazilians, and that won't do him any harm.
Ronaldo, and thrown behind by Kojima for a corner, which Zinho will take. Juninho.
What's interesting, Martin, in the early stages is that when the ball gets anywhere near the halfway line, the Japanese are pressurising and not giving the Brazilians a lot of time, and they let them have it there, but once it comes in here, then the first man squeezing in.
Marcio Santos, Juninho, Roberto Carlos. Brazil giving some early indication here. But they might just be in the mood to reward the Merseyside fans who've come out on a foul night to see this third match in the Umbro Cup. And for Brazil, a return, of course, to a ground with unhappy memories. They came here as World Cup winners almost 30 years ago, and they lost their world crown here, beaten by Hungary and Portugal in the group stages of the '66 finals, which, of course, was eventually won by England. It's a ground on which Pelé, I'm sure Gordon Milne remembers this, was brutally treated. He was literally carried out of the tournament, kicked out of the tournament.
Yeah, I was here at that game, Martin, and it wasn't very nice to see. But coming back to more modern times, it's just interesting at the moment with the Japanese adopting basically the same way they played against England on Saturday, and not giving the Brazilians a great deal of time.
Juninho. Kitazawa. Doriva. Here's Jorginho. The crowd is so big at the Gladys Street end of the ground that some of the overspill are out on the track behind Kojima's goal at the moment. Jorginho, one of the Japanese-based Brazilians. Now Juninho.
A characteristic of Brazilian football is that they do take their time, they are patient with the build-up and strolling around at the back, and it's something sometimes the crowd, particularly in this country, get a bit impatient with, and maybe a little education for British supporters tonight to see the importance of keeping the ball and not giving it away.
Doriva. Dunga, who pulls so many strings from midfield. Dunga again. Ronaldo. Problems with the bounce for Tasaka. Oh. A fantastic goal from Roberto Carlos. It flew in. Well, the mistake was well and truly punished. And a brilliant start for Brazil. One of the players who's made such an impression here. He flicked it forward. He was lucky with Tasaka misjudging the bounce, but from then on, that was vintage Brazil.
Yeah, it was a tremendous finish, wasn't it? I mean, Tasaka didn't stand up there and made a mess of it, really, but the finish was, well, this boy's a class player.
And Brazil are in front. It's his first international goal. It's not his first goal in senior football by any means. For his club Palmeiras, he's a regular scorer charging down the left-hand side. They wouldn't call him a left-back. He just works that beat down that flank, and he's as likely to pop up in the opposition penalty area as he is in his own, and he's done it here to devastating effect. And Japan, who bedded in quite sensibly at Wembley, haven't been given the opportunity to do so here at Goodison Park.
No, the stage is set very early for Brazil to relax now and get a hold of the game and embroider the little patterns. We'll be testing 15 minutes for Japan after this. Just got to settle down and keep their heads.
Dunga. Oh, Juninho's got room, and Japan looking nervous and anxious here, as we expected them to do against England, when perhaps the early pressure wasn't quite applied in the same way, and Brazil also benefiting, as we must stress, from an individual mistake by a player who played particularly well at Wembley.
Yes, he did. I hope it doesn't affect him, because he's a great lad and he's a real competitor.
The ball with Jorginho. Doriba, and that's one that was given away. But Japan's footballers, very much national heroes over the past weekend compared to their rugby players. The unlucky defeat at Wembley, in stark contrast to that 145-17 annihilation that Japan suffered in South Africa in the Rugby World Cup, which is come close to almost writing off that particular sport in that particular country.
You can see the little pattern of which is characteristic of Japanese football there, Martin, that everybody in the middle, clustered in that little middle pack, they like their diamond shape, and I feel that they've got to get Nakayama, the right back, out of there, and he's standing out there free now. Get the ball to him and try and reverse the pressure on Carlos, otherwise he's going to have a field day.
This is Edmundo chasing, and Tasaka happy to turn that one away, but only as far as Ronaldo. Juninho. Well, poor Tasaka, who's so conspicuous through his hereditary hair loss, was very conspicuous here.
Yeah, you can't... There's no way he can hide, is there, in a mistake like that one? Not that he'd want to.
And Roberto Carlos. Well, it was a rasper.
There's the free man. The right back's free all night, and he's got to really demand the ball more and get out and start to make things happen. He can supply the passes in there. He tried to get it through there, but it's a poor one.
Juninho. Jorginho. Juninho's away again. Pace taken off the shot by Hara. But it's his game to a tee. He's so frail looking, but he's certainly not frightened when it comes to running at defenders.
And it is we keep saying this, but it's the night to do that. And the Japanese can, if they can get in that last third. They've got one or two there that can have a little bite at you.
He's been telling us that he's got another 6 months on his present contract with Sao Paulo, and he will sign an extension of that contract, so any scouts watching, take heed of that information. Offside here, the ball forward from Morishima. And Nakayama had just gone too soon. Ian Cathcart, the Scottish linesman. Soma. Kazumura, who's captaining Japan tonight, in the absence of Shirotani, who's suspended, of course, for the handball on the line that presented England with their winning penalty. Kitasawa has a reputation in his own country for being a bit brusque in the tackle.
Japan are going to have to try and take the sting out of it some way, and the right-back position. He's the man that is free. We can get the ball to him. There's space on that side to slow it down a wee bit and try and get into forward positions. Most other areas are pretty tight.
Dunga. Edmundo. Jorginho can cut that off. I'm hoping to slide it through for Kazu. This is Zinho, who is a very consistent figure in the World Cup campaign. Jim McCluskey just handing an arm of apology there, halting Brazil. Kazu. Well, it is a night on which to shoot and try and make the goalkeeper deal with a very wet ball.
Yeah, we were right behind that one, Martin. That wouldn't be far away.
Zinho. There's no flag here. That was Dunga trying to loft it over the goalkeeper.
And the goalkeeper did well. Another good moment for the keeper there, because whether he was off or not, that should have been number 2.
Well, they organised their defending pretty well at Wembley in terms of coming up and holding the line. You do need the linesman to get it right every time as well. That must have been a close call, but the flag did stay down. And Shu Kamo, who had a goalkeeping selection problem, will be pleased with the way Kojima dealt with that. The goalkeeper was given no chance at all on the goal that he has conceded. As the rain continues to slant down here on Merseyside. And Roberto Carlos, with one in the bag already, has come across to be involved in the free kick. Well, the extra pace came with a zip off the turf as well. Goalkeeper got well behind it. Kojima and his fellow Japanese goalkeepers in this squad being coached by a Brazilian, Mario, one of 2 Brazilians on the Japanese staff.
I think if they're going to hit long stuff like that, they're going to give the ball away and they'll be made to suffer. You must keep the ball against the Brazilians if you possibly can. And their outlet for Japan is...
There's another mistake there by Ihara.
Conditions playing the part there. Their outlet for Japan is on both sides, the left back position, the right back position, the areas in which they can get a little bit of time and space and just keep the ball away from the Brazilians.
Jorginho. Ronaldo in the centre. Well, he's got license to roam down the right, just as Roberto Carlos does down the left-hand side, and at the moment, Japan being totally stretched on both sides. Zinho with the corner. Another test for the Japanese defenders here. Corner not deep enough. Retrieved by Juninho. Toriba. Launched by Aldair. Edmundo able to guide it down. It was misjudged a bit by Kasaka, who seemed to have got in front then. But the apprehension that we expected to see from Japan in the opening game and never really materialised is evident here tonight. They're not happy with the conditions, they're not happy with the opposition, they're on the rack again. And Roberto Carlos looking for Edmundo, knocked away by Kojima. Edmundo trying to retrieve it for Brazil to keep the pressure on. He's not given Dunga much of a chance, and then the ball bounces off the captain.
Yeah, getting a little nervy and erratic there with the pressure on them a bit, Japan, Martin. A different quality of player, but you know, a great example from both sides of the Brazilian. Both full-backs are pushing forward and getting in there, and I think when that happens to you, you've got to match like with like, and the Japanese boys have got to try and get out on those wide positions, otherwise they're going to see very little of the ball.
Look at that. possession. Here's Kitazawa. It's not an easy night on which to defend, and that goes for Brazil as well. If Japan can get any
useful
sort of
ball.
Nakayama! That was a real chance for Japan. And Zeti, I mean, kept it out by blocking at the crucial moment when Nakayama, who's holding his head now, disappointed, knowing perhaps the consequences of failing to score here.
Yeah, I mean, that was a ball of the highest quality. That's a great ball and a tremendous save by the goalkeeper, really. But, I mean, he should have finished it off. But the ball itself was absolutely top class. How do you like them? Crucial miss, crucial save.
A terrific ball in, and Brazil can be opened up. You've just seen it happen, but you do have to take the rare chances that they give you. Dunga still 1-0, but all the promise here that it's going to be a very eventful night. Juninho, that's too long.
Yeah, tried to do the right thing there, but just overcooked it a little bit. But there was a wide position where the Japanese got in there, Martin, on the left-hand side, and you know, it just proves the point that if you can get good deliveries from the width of the pitch, then you'll get opportunities. If you can do that on the right and try and get forward there, then maybe a little bit more joy. The right back should be going now. There he is.
Narahashi. And the more they do that, the more Roberto Carlos on that far side and Jorginho on this near side will have to think about defending. They've scarcely given that much of a thought in the opening 17 minutes or so before the first chance materialised for Japan. This is Umbro, the player who was sent off on his debut last month against Scotland for a rather hands-on method of defending. Juninho, just caught by Yamaguchi, the holding midfield player.
Talk about the Brazilians playing short football, but Carlos just hit a ball there from the deep position with the outside of his foot, was a fraction of getting the front player away, and that was, what, 35, 40 yards. Tremendous vision. He's going to have a shot here again.
This is Brazil, Gordon. What to expect?
Yeah. I'm glad I'm not in that lineup, Martin. Might change his mind now.
Roberto Carlos is having a good look at it. He's taking the run up. Here he goes. And it's parried powerfully away using the velocity of the shot by Kojima. A deep ball. Lacked anyone attacking it at the far post from Jorginho. But there's no doubt where the greatest danger, where the hardest work is coming from for the debutant goalkeeper, from the left foot of Roberto Carlos.
Yeah, he didn't change his mind, did he?
But on a wet night, this wasn't a bad way to deal with it from the goalkeeper.
Well, maybe got a touch as well, so the keeper did well. No, he didn't. Good save.
Well, at least 3 of the 7 coming from Roberto Carlos. And all of his have been on target. Just too long for Morishima.
With all the possession, Brazil, and they've played some lovely stuff so far, probably Japan have had the best opportunity with that lovely cross from the left-hand side. And if they can just have the confidence in themselves and try and get forward a little more.
I think it's a compliment to the competition that Brazil have basically stuck with the core of the side that played in the opening game, and we understand we'll continue to play, Terry Venables is listening, for the final game at Wembley. They're used to playing these international competitions and they expect to win them. Not a case of bringing everyone here to give them a chance. But nicely played by Japan through midfield. Kitazawa getting it on to Soma here. Front players have split well. And Brazil not looking so composed when it comes to getting back and defending their own penalty area. Yamaguchi. Omura. Soma, the supply line from the left. Omura again. Kizawa maybe let it run deliberately. Dunga was behind him. And here's Edmundo.
Another example really, Martin, of just getting wide again and getting the ball in. It wasn't a bad cross, and they've not looked over keen on defending those two well, the Brazilians. Mighty difficult ball to deal with tonight.
Juninho, Roberto Carlos, here it goes again. He's a gem. He's an absolute gem.
Yeah, major threat there, and they've got to really somehow deal with that. And as I said earlier, the only reason, or the only way I think, or one of the ways, is for the right back there to push on a little bit more and try and nullify that early. If he gets in the last third, he's going to cause damage.
He did come here in 1992 and was on the bench at Wembley when England played Brazil. Match remembered. That was not such a memorable ball from Roberto Carlos. And he suddenly hit a bad spell. He sliced one out of play. But he was a 19-year-old prodigy then. Now he's regarded as the first choice to play in this left-sided position for the Brazilians. You do feel if Japan can just get a share of the ball in midfield and increase the service into the front players, they might not end up on the wrong end of a hiding, which certainly looked the way the game was shaping up in the first 15 minutes or so.
I think the area's it's tight in the middle, it's congested in there, and there's not a lot of time. It's the wide positions, and I keep going on about this, that Brazil are exposing, whereas there's a little bit of space, a bit of time where they can maybe put their foot on the ball and try and string 2 or 3 passes together. But if they keep their heads now to half-time, they'll be quite happy with the scoreline.
Keeping his head dry is the legendary figure Mario Zagallo. He's been involved one way or another in all 4 of Brazil's World Cup wins, twice as a player, once as the head coach in 1970 and last year as the assistant to Carlos Pereira in the United States. Juninho couldn't quite bounce up in time. Jorginho. Dunga forward quickly. Ronaldo will appreciate that. It's a difficult angle. He was concentrating on hitting the target. In the end, he just hit the goalkeeper.
Yeah, the goalkeeper acknowledging that there. He tried to be positive, but I think, you know, when Japan get the ball back, they've got to try and keep it for a little longer. Otherwise, they're going to use all their energy hunting the thing, and that becomes soul-destroying. And against players of this skill and a wonderful ball like that, you can't afford to do those things.
It was played by Zinho, who one or two of the Brazilian officials were telling me plays too many square passes. They would like to see Leonardo in that midfield role because he's got a bit more attacking flair. But Zinho was a very key man in the World Cup for the continuity in his play. And he's certainly Mario Zagallo's preferred choice, as tonight's selection showed.
I think the coach would be just wanting Brazil to just give themselves a little bit of a shake again. They've just eased off a wee bit and allowed Japan to settle and regain a little bit of composure.
Given away by Edmundo. Nakayama slipped behind him from Aldair. Zinho, well, that's certainly a forward ball to Juninho. Hashi, the defender, who's exposed here by the run of Zinho. Ronaldo going in. The 18-year-old with this unenviable tag of being the new Pele. Done his reputation no harm with an excellent season in Holland. Top scorer in the Dutch First Division with 30 goals.
For the last 5 or 10 minutes there, it's been interesting morning. Kazu seems to have dropped off the front position and trying to get back into midfield a little bit. Now, whether that's instructions from the bench or whether he's getting a little frustrated to try and get involved and get hold of the ball, but I think if he could receive it a little bit further up the pitch, it'd be more effective. I can't see one striker on their own up there causing too much trouble to the Brazilians. No,
Shima's done well.
Unlucky.
They have got this change of pace.
They have, and you know, this is what I'm saying. If they can just get a little bit more time on the ball and be a wee bit patient, they get overexcited at times and throw it away, and then you've really got to hunt it and get it back. Now, can he stay with this one?
This is Soma. Well, he again only had really Nakayama to pick out.
Yeah, you've got the picture at the back there. You've got 4 or 5 against 2 Brazilians, and that's the situation where the Japanese have got to get forward quicker. It wasn't a bad ball.
With Marcio Santos back, Brazil tonight fielding 5 of the team which played in the World Cup final against Italy. And Zeti and Ronaldo were non-playing members of that squad. Not the entire party that Zagallo would have liked to have fielded. There's still the Rio Championship being concluded back in Brazil. Well, maybe it stopped raining.
No, these are
conditions down.
Situations they've got to defend well here, Japan.
Marcio Santos. Ronaldo was able to spin into the shot.
Didn't quite get hold of it, but turned well.
Battling with Ihara, who on that occasion was doing the marking. I sense at times that maybe the conditions have got something to do with it. There's a bit of disorder at the back from Brazil, which England might be taking due note of.
But again, as he was trying to get through on that little triangle there, the right back was in acres of land, and he's not really screaming for the ball. He's not coming out the hole there and demanding the ball, and I think they're wasting opportunities, the Japanese team. You need options, and against class sides you don't get too many. But there's definitely one on that side.
Kazu. Aldair wasn't distracted by the hurtling presence of Nakayama. England represented tonight by Brian Robson. Got Mike Kelly for company, and Steve Coppell, of course. Jorginho. Dunga. It's a very tight situation for Brazil's captain, but he managed to extricate himself from it. To total appreciation here at Goodison Park. Ronaldo. Back header for Dunga, for Ronaldo. Hashi played it against Roberto Carlos, which was a bit risky. But terrific tenacity and talent from Dunga.
Yeah, great close control there, and he knows what he's doing. He's still watching the ball, head down there all the time, and not happy that he lost it, and he's got it back again, and delighted the Goodison crowd. They love that one.
He's a highly intelligent man, and he really has made himself into a world-class player. Juninho. plays Italy with Roma. Marcio Santos likewise with Fiorentina. Dunga. Ronaldo stepping in. Juninho. Well, Somas had trouble with the bounce, and Edmundo in the end likewise, but that again could have been costly to Japan, who are behind really solely because of the individual error.
Yeah, the surface just took the ball away from the two of them there. It could have been costly, as you say.
Now by Jorginho. And Morishima. Narahashi. Morishima. Sometimes they're getting the ball and reacting like startled rabbits, the Japanese players. You feel if they just relax on it a little bit, they have even more to offer. Kitazawa. Narahashi. Well, it was well worth the crack.
Yeah, Narahashi, see, when he receives this ball, and okay, he's in there for a peck at goal, but where Carlos has been receiving the ball from Brazil is more or less getting, as we say, the white of the touchline on his boots, and he takes the perfect position if you're playing in that role, where he's as wide as he possibly can get, and he comes into the ball and receives it comfortably. The little right back for Japan was too far in there, and he could have got the ball much wider to get a cross in, which might have been more effective.
Edmundo. Zinho, the outlet ball again.
There he is.
Zinho supporting Roberto Carlos. Dunga. Juninho closing out the header with Yamaguchi, who's trying to contain Brazil's number 10 tonight. Job that Sweden couldn't do collectively. Dunga. Ronaldo. Juninho supporting him. Infield from Roberto Carlos. Free kick given. Quickly taken by Kazu. Soma. Here's Nakayama. Well, it's not surprising that Brazil have the greater tactical know-how. Edmundo. Still Edmundo. Still Edmundo. It's a brilliant run. Oh, it's hit the bar. It comes out for Zinho. And it's a corner. Edmundo, capable of extraordinary individual feats. And you saw one here. Brazil have but a corner at the end of it. And Edmundo's in there from the corner. Great control by Roberto Carlos. As he go on to shoot again and cuts it back this time, away by Narahashi. Morishima, crowd still buzzing about what they saw from the new Flamengo signing, Edmundo the Animal, as he's been nicknamed for his antics. Behaviour that's rather held back his career at the very top flight for Brazil. Dunga. Oh, Juninho goes down, free kick on the edge of the area.
You were seeing from the Japanese team the thing that we didn't see in the England game, Martin, where they're beginning to get very stretched, and they were, when he had made a tremendous run there, they got players all over the pitch and big spaces which the Brazilians exploited, and they're looking a little ragged at this period. The Animal, as we call him, did everything right there and was tremendously unlucky.
Is Roberto Carlos about to steal the show again?
Put your helmet on.
No, it's Juninho! And he had the goalkeeper scampering then. Here's Roberto Carlos. Dunga has a crack, and the goalkeeper's required again.
A tremendous save, two great saves for him, because it was a clever free kick. Everybody expected the shot, and he's reacted well there and got to it.
Well, it's what the crowd here at Goodison Park have come out to see, and I'm sure really what you're watching for at home as well, the explosion in Brazilian football. That was Dunga's effort. More to come here as Ronaldo goes in, and Kojima, the goalkeeper. What a baptism of fire this is. But he's doing pretty well in the circumstances.
Yes, he is, and Japan pretty ragged at the moment. They've got to regroup and close it down a little bit and hang on there to half-time, because the game from their point of view could have been dead and buried. And if they don't get a hold of it now, you know, they might go into half-time in an irretrievable position.
Well, unlucky Edmundo. Sorry we had to keep you waiting for that replay, but so much was going on. And Brazil, with so many attempts at goal, 14, it's amazing that they've only scored once, with 11 efforts on target. Well, Kojima having much more to do, really, than another debutant goalkeeper, Bengt Andersson of Sweden, did at Villa Park on Sunday. But here's Soma. And Japan, as far as the scoreline are concerned, is still very much in it.
Yeah, there are little kinks of light for them, and opportunities that, if they're prepared to have a go and try and exploit them, they could be there, especially on an evening like this. But you look at the pattern of play at the moment, Martin, and they're really stretched, Japan. They've really got to push up and close the spaces down, otherwise too much room for the Brazilians to play.
To play what they call and have shown to be the beautiful game.
But it's entertaining, and a big crowd here, and I'm sure they're all enjoying it.
Just going back through the record books earlier today, Japan have won, getting on for 80 international tournaments at all levels over the world. And it's just a phenomenal rate of success. Brazil really go into every tournament expecting to win it, and I feel the same about the Umbro Cup.
I'm sure of that, and it's still a big stage for him. There's the man, there's the position he takes, easy to find.
But I'm sure the England camp watching will have noted that there are deficiencies in the play. Here's Dunga, and space again, and not on target this time, but for the flare up front, there's not altogether total security at the back. But you've got to get the ball to get at them, Gordon.
Yeah, they've got to get a hold of the thing, Brazil, and Japan. It's difficult against a team like Brazil, but they've really got to try and slow the thing a wee bit and get a bit of possession and try and put 2 or 3 passes together. Keep saying the same thing, but try and use the width, and you can see the benefit of it when Japan do that. When Brazil do that, sorry.
Here's Jorginho. Aldair, who was booked against Sweden, and if he was to get another caution tonight, would be suspended from the final game. That's the disciplinary regulations of this tournament. Kojima.
Yeah, a little nervous though. That's an example of the Japanese play at the moment. A little edgy and not that confidence, just to try and get hold of the ball and not be excited. You can't say that about these fellas.
They absolutely love the ball. might take the spring out of the step of Roberto Carlos.
You can see the position he's in there, Martin, at the moment now. He's probably further in than he's been most of the night, and he's been another 2 or 3 metres wider than that, and he's easy to find. And the difference between him and the two fullbacks of Japan is they're making the runs much more narrow, and hence there's no space and they're more difficult to find. He's clever, and he puts himself in a position where he's easy to find when there's congestion in the middle of the park.
Roberto Carlos plays for Palmeiras, who have, for the last 2 years, been the national champions of Brazil.
There it goes. Yeah, he's looking at. He just wants the ball, Carlos.
Yes, he was very disappointed that was played up towards Ronaldo.
There'll be a few words at half-time, I think, over the bubble.
And Japan at half-time will be ruining that missed opportunity by Nakayama. Here he is. Aldair on him in a flash, who just clipped as he played the ball away. Roberto Carlos again. I'd love to know how many touches he's had individually on the ball in a half in which he's been a dominating figure. Misjudged by Soma. Juninho. Dunga for Jorginho. Plenty of Brazilians forward here. Edmundo back for Jorginho again. Tricks Soma. But couldn't get away from him. A bit of room for the deep-lying Kazu. Morishima. Nakayama trying to get free in the centre. Others supporting, like Kitazawa. Brazil rather bunched in their defending, leaving space down the side for Kazu.
Yeah, Brazil looking a little ragged when Japan are prepared to show a little bit of character and not get too excited and just keep the ball and have a go at them. It's an open game, Martin. There's spaces and room to play.
An open game, a hugely entertaining one, which Brazil really could have totally taken by the scruff of its neck. But on the scoreline, they haven't. Kitazawa. Looks for Doriva. Ronaldo using his strength. Zinho, so neat and tidy. On he went to give the angle for Roberto Carlos. It was the only ball on, really, and he made it possible by his own industry, Zinho. Away by Yamaguchi. Oh, that was taking Japan's life into their own hands then.
The prime example of them getting a little nervous there when they had time just to keep the ball and relax. But a really entertaining half, and I'm sure they'll be quite happy to get in at 1-0 there, Japan.
Roberto Carlos really buried the goal after 6 minutes. And since then, Kojima on his debut has been bombarded by the Brazilians, but he's done very well to keep them out, particularly the long-range efforts. Juninho's free kick. And Edmundo has also hit the bar. It's a miracle, really, that at half-time it's only 1-0 to Brazil.
Tomorrow, it's a stellar evening of television coming your way on Sky.
Enjoy the show.
Para Mendieta. Hacia Idiáquez, cortó a Damián. De nuevo a Damián con el balón. Y de nuevo cortó Mendieta. Saque de banda para Armenia. Vamos a ver si vuelven a acelerar un poquito. Nazarian juega para Zazanian. Zazanian y Raúl. Se va Zazanian. Y Santi, muy bien, adelantándose a Epranosian. Raúl, se incorpora Sietes. Raúl para Idiáquez, que bien a punto estuvo. Primero parecía que había hecho bien el control. Era una pelota difícil de echar al suelo, que lo hubiera dejado, si lo hubiera controlado solo ante el guardameta. José Ignacio ahí intentando, y cómo no, consiguiendo una vez más recuperar el balón para la selección española. Chietes. Recupera Epranosian para Armenia. Ahora Caranca. Idiáquez, fuera de juego de Morales. Tiene la mano ligerísima. Este fue de línea. Lo que estaba saltando Idiáquez cuando ya levantó. Vamos a verlo ahí. Observen la posición de Morales. Saltando ahí Idiáquez. Ahí. Sí, ahora parecía que podían estar tan...
Pidiendo y abriendo.
Van de nuevo. Parece que ha recibido un golpe en la frente, según este gesto, el jugador de Armenia, a que tendrán que retirar del terreno de juego para ser atendido fuera de él. Es en Grigorian el que ha quedado en el suelo. El partido parado. Se va a cumplir el minuto 32 del segundo tiempo. Sigue el 3-0 favorable a la selección española. España que suma ya 18 goles a favor, 4 en contra. De momento, al empezar la jornada de hoy, Bélgica lleva 20 a favor, 4 en contra. Todavía siguen por delante los belgas en las diferencias de goles. Pero, insisto, Bélgica juega hoy en Macedonia, campo donde España ganó por 1-0 con un gol en lanzamiento de falta directo de Óscar. Vamos a ver si los belgas han ganado, y si lo han hecho, evidentemente, vamos a ver los goles. No será fácil que mantengan esa diferencia de 5. Hay un nuevo cambio, entra con el dorsal número 12 Kogoyan en la selección de Armenia. Kogoyan, segundo cambio, ahí lo tienen, en la selección de Armenia por el lesionado Grigorian. Hay saque de banda y balón, saque de puerta para la selección de Armenia. 33 minutos de este segundo tiempo, sigue el 3-0. Unos momentos brillantes, unos minutos brillantes en la selección española. De ello consiguió el tercer gol Morales, pero de nuevo han logrado los armenios parar el partido, bajar el ritmo. Cuando Idiáquez ha jugado ese balón, el que no llega, Lardín. De nuevo saque de banda para los armenios. Va a sacar a Damián. Epranosian. Hay falta de José Ignacio. De nuevo a Damián. De a Damián. Se adelanta muy bien Santi ahí a Kocharian. Lardín, Mendieta. Mendieta de nuevo para Lardín. Y de nuevo se recupera el saque de banda los armenios. Y es una vez más a Damián quien va a sacar. Mendieta, el que ha recuperado para el equipo español. Lardín. Vamos a ver. Lardín. Está abusando un poquito del juego individual. No solo Lardín, sino la mayoría de los jugadores ahí en esas zonas, en las aproximaciones al área. Airapetian para Nazarian. Minasian. Le ha quitado bien ahí Mendieta. Óscar.
They've been correct because I think
you were desperate for that to go in.
Yes, that's right. Akiyama should have scored there, I feel, and but overall, you know.
But it's been thoroughly enjoyed, hasn't it?
7 con el balón para José Ignacio. José Ignacio hacia Santi. Primera subida del capitán del equipo español, Santi. Santi, Lardín. Lardín para Mendieta. Vamos a ver el centro de Mendieta y Diáquez. El balón para Berezovski. De nuevo otro jugador armenio en el suelo, en el terreno de juego. Con lo cual, vamos a ver, no, ya se ha levantado. Mientras Mora se hacía con el balón, ahí está el jugador. Y es Raúl quien tiene la pelota. Raúl jugó muy bien ahí para Morales. Y envió a córner.
And I think he should have done, shouldn't he?
El sexto para el equipo español en este segundo tiempo. Va a lanzar Morales. España buscando aumentar el marcador. 3-0 hasta ahora. Toca Morales, deja pasar Idiáquez. Y ha marcado al fin Raúl. Raúl ha marcado el cuarto, minuto 36. Dejó pasar muy bien ahí Idiáquez. Y Raúl marca su segundo gol como internacional sub-21. Marcó contra Bélgica en su debut en Málaga. Y este es su segundo gol con la selección sub-21. Ahí vemos el remate de cabeza de Raúl. Al fin en un lanzamiento de córner España sacó fruto. Ahí se adelanta muy bien a Nazarian, que se lleva la bronca del guardameta Berezovski. 37 minutos, 8 para el final, 4-0 para la selección española, que ya suma 19 goles contra 4, 20 contra 4 Bélgica, jugándose sin saber todavía lo que ha hecho Bélgica en Macedonia. El público pidiendo otro. No está resultando nada fácil para los jugadores de la selección española marcar ante la selección de Armenia. Karanka. Sacado Karanka ese balón. Que viene el regate que hizo Kocharian, pero de nuevo Karanka. El que quiso jugar ahora hacia Raúl. Raúl y Airapetian.
Be dead when you hit my doorstep.
When an old adversary returns to do battle,
Nothing stands in my way.
with the
Petian va a sacar ya 7 para José Ignacio. José Ignacio juega para
agent Elliot Ness
We're going to turn their world upside down.
continue their legendary struggle in the Untouchables.
Now the fun begins.
Highlander followed by the Untouchables Thursday on Sky One.
Over the last 30 years, the value of money has on average halved every decade. An investment with Prudential, on the other hand, would have beaten inflation twice over. It pays to be Prudential. Talk to Prudence.
For an offer you can't refuse, call 0645 601 601. Thank you for the days, those endless days, those sacred days you gave me. I'm thinking of the days I won't forget a single day, believe me. I bless the light, I bless the light that lights on you, believe me. Days I remember all my life, days when you can't...
Hey! Oh no, you're joking.
Fantastyczne.
What? Oh. Lovely. I've been wrong so many times in my life, it's unbelievable.
I don't believe it. Pepsi.
Oh, it's fasting.
Let's make your mind up time.
Oh, gosh.
Dance Buzz. 20 of today's biggest hits with the exclusive new hit from Nightcrawlers. Billy Ray Martin, E17 M People and Michelle Gale. Dance Buzz with Scatman, Real McCoy. Get all the hits. Get Dance Buzz now.
Accurist Navigator. Travel the world's time zones with 3 international alarms. Accurist Divers. Water resistant to 20 atmospheres. Accurist Sport. A chronograph performance captured at 2/100ths of a second. Accurist. The standard by which all watches are set.
The conquest of space, the American dream. But what about the men behind that dream? Coors drinking men.
Very little excess baggage there, John?
Not anymore.
Roger, Roger. So, Space Cadet, bet you after sitting around all day, you could really go for a...
Oh, John, kill you. Speaking of gravity, the original gravity of Coors is steaming up. Don't they fit these things with wipers?
Don't worry, John, it'll wear off soon.
Told you.
Sky Sports brings you big-time boxing. England's Carl Thompson takes on Germany's Ralph Rocchigiani in a fight for the vacant WBO Cruiserweight Championship. And Thompson's ready to step out of the shadows and into the realms of the British World Champions. Thompson versus Rocchigiani. Big-time boxing. Saturday at 9:30 on Sky Sports.
1-0 to Brazil at Goodison Park. This is how they saw and heard the goal go in back home.
É do Brasil!
And just when you thought it was safe...
Roberto Carlos aos 6 minutos e 10. Deixa que eu vou, não foi, o líbero da saca. Roberto esperto tomou e aí disparou a bomba que o Brasil conhece. Explodiu a perna esquerda de Roberto Carlos. Cruzada, na frente do Kojima, não deu para ele. Roberto partiu pro abraço. Começa cedo
and he'd still be going if we'd given him a few more replays, I'm sure. Back to Goodison Park to rejoin Gordon Milne and Martin Tyler.
I don't think that Brazilian would ever be able to work with Andy Gray, Richard. Andy would have knocked him out of the way well before he'd wrapped that one up. News of a substitution at half-time for Japan. Fukuda, the number 16, is on for Nakayama.
It'll be interesting to see where he plays, because they're going to still need something up the front there if they're going to retrieve it.
But it's been a hugely enjoyable night so far at Goodison Park, where the welcome mat has well and truly been rolled out for international football. The last internationals here back in 1973, when Northern Ireland staged a couple of technically home matches for them because of security reasons in Belfast. They couldn't play there. And as we said earlier, in '66, Brazil played all 3 of their group games in the World Cup here and lost their grip on the Jules Rimet trophy. They were beaten by Hungary and then really butchered by Portugal. Rain falling again as the second half gets underway. But Japan's still in the contest.
Good bodies forward here. He's in. Oh.
goalkeeper rather distracted Morishima, who seemed favourite initially to get first to the cross.
I think you were being nice to Morishima there, Martin. I think he...
bottled it?
Yes, he did, for want of a better word. Definitely one tailor-made for Andy.
Juninho beaten by the bounce. Zinho. Conditions demanding precision in the passing and the control. Morishima really had an opportunity to make a name for himself here, Gordon.
Yeah, there's a great ball in, and let's just have a little look at it. Look, he's just got to go in. He's looked at the goalkeeper and not the ball, and I mean, all you concentrate on the ball there, you take the lot. The goalkeeper didn't make the best decision either. Great chance, that. Clear chance.
It might not have reached Kojima. Ihara took charge and he needed to do so with Ronaldo in there hunting. Skimmed away from Marcio Santos. Fukuda. With the ball out of play, let's get a quick word from George Gavin.
Yes, Martin, I can summarise the Japanese team talk at half-time for you. Basically, it consisted of this message: we are playing the best team in the world, but we are showing them too much respect. We only need one chance.
Well, thank you, George. They certainly have had that one chance since half-time, which makes at least 2 in the game.
But it took Camus longer to tell them that. But it looks like Fukuda's playing up front, and he'll have the legs maybe to be willing enough to try and find the little spaces in behind. So it might just take a little bit of pressure off Kazu and allow him to get into the game. He's been quiet tonight.
Fukuda, who came on at Wembley, is playing for Japan for the 39th time tonight, so he's no novice. Edmundo asking a little bit too much of Juninho, who's quite prepared to put what bulk he had into that challenge, and he's been properly penalised for it. Narahashi. Here is the newcomer, Fukuda. Good thing Brazil haven't been quite ruthless enough in front of goal, given the number of chances that they've had. But as Gordon and I were discussing here at half-time, you would feel if you got to play against this Brazilian side next week, which England have next Sunday, you might make an opportunity or two against them.
Yes, I think somewhat. I mean, Brazil will be looking at this as a practice match, and it's a very open game. I mean, there's, in terms of trying to lock the thing up, both sides are playing very free, and Brazil could be punished. And, you know, we've played 50 minutes, and on that 50 minutes, I think Japan have had the best 2 chances.
Marcio Santos rather arrogantly flipping it forward to Zinho. Yamaguchi.
And the pitch is stretched, and there is space to play. You do feel that if it remains like this, and as they tire, I think the spaces will get even greater. Brazil have got the better players and the technique to exploit it. But if Japan can show the courage and determination and try and get at them, who knows?
Juninho. The low centre of gravity, and then feeling the contact and happy to get the free kick, you felt. But it's given Japan some bother here, you feel. It's very hard to stop.
Yes, he is, and in low centre of gravity, and a little bit, I'm not sure that was the right decision. Anyway, it's given. Dangerous position.
Well, they expected someone to come around the back. Jorginho did when he took the free kick. Dunga.
Yeah, I think he wasted that one really, Rod. I think they'll be disappointed with that. There was a perfect angle to get a good ball in there.
And they've got a chance at another corner here. Roberto Carlos leaving it to Juninho. Goal, a ball that needed maximum concentration, and you would never have expected maximum power, but Zinho provided it. Fantastic.
Well, we'll just watch this.
What a hit.
I mean, that's worth the entrance fee alone, Martin. All those fans standing tonight queuing in that rain. It's worth it. You'd have been disappointed if you missed that one. What a beauty.
Scorer for Brazil, Zinho.
Well, they got one 6 minutes into the first half, and here's number 2 6 minutes into the second half of similar style. Here's Fukuda. Zinho is kicking in his own box. Kudazawa. Rather scooped it.
Yes, well, again, I mean, it's a half chance, and he never looked like it. He was scooping at it and lacked determination, I think, when it mattered there. A little bit of belief.
Zinho looked as though he was still thinking about what he'd done at the other end.
That's right, and he jibbed it a little bit as well. But that was a magic goal, and I mean, it's those sort of situations that turn games, and it's really put Brazil in the driving seat now.
And you can't say that they don't deserve it. And you certainly can't say it's out of character. Mauricio Santos on duty.
A reasonable position for Japan again, but just that final ball doesn't have the quality and the right feel about it.
Well, I must say, as a commentator, it makes you want to get into the goal roar. Maybe another one here from the Japanese point of view.
Well done.
That was Yamaguchi.
I mean, it's we're fortunate, Martin, I think, tonight that we're not in the studio, because you can feel the atmosphere here, and it's a really gala occasion, and everybody's really enjoying the game, and to be fair to the Japanese team, they're having a go as well. It's a wonderful evening.
And for the English football lover, the chance to see Brazil in the flesh doesn't happen too often, particularly away from Wembley. No one will feel shortchanged tonight. Dunga. Kudazawa. Well, there are gaps to be exploited. Morishima beaten by the slipperiness on the pitch and perhaps his own anxiety in trying to whip the ball across quickly.
But a more controlled build-up by the Japanese there, and they got themselves into a good position again, and you just wonder whether at the back, where we have to say Brazil have not looked in complete control, whether they're just relaxing and thinking the game's over, and this is giving opportunities to Japan, if they're patient and accurate with the passing, to create one or two nice little openings, and that was one there. Pity the final ball didn't come.
Marvellous bit of retrieving there by Roberto Carlos. It's another corner.
Yeah, needlessly given away there, a little bit naivety, but with honest endeavour.
Marcio Santos has gone up there. Jorginho by the near post. Wonder whether we're going to get another volley. Torriva that time, but he's lost his bearings totally, and Japan can stream forward here.
They've got men over.
Morishima. And in the end, in Kazu's attempt to get it across the face of the goalkeeper, he couldn't quite achieve that. They really recognised the opportunity well.
Yeah, Morishima picked the wrong ball out there at the finish. He had 2 men over on the far side. If he'd just got his head up a little bit and had a look, there was, again, space to have a strike at goal.
Yes, Fukuda and Tasaka from the back had got in down the other side. Zakale won't be pleased with that. Kazu. He's away. But for all the enthralling football that Brazil are providing, there's an air of uncertainty about them that really makes one lick the lips about what might happen at Wembley on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm sure the coach is not happy with this. I mean, they are too open. It's just a little bit of, we have the ball and play, you have the ball and you can play. And really, that's not good preparation for him, that. I think you would like to feel that they'd be a bit more ruthless at the back and really stitch the game up. But it's very, very open.
Ronaldo. Edmundo. And it's Brazil's turn to play, following Gordon's summing up of the game so far. Juninho, Edmundo. Ronaldo, Edmundo, nearly happened for Brazil. Might happen still. A lot of Japanese players around the ball and they forced the mistake from Ronaldo, and there's an avenue to get forward again for Morishima. Fukuda. Dunga trying to restore some order. Oh, the goalkeeper has come out kamikaze fashion. He's laid a hand on Juninho. He's totally stranded. Jim McCluskey lets the game go on. The goalkeeper's herring back. Edmundo's on the ball, weaving his way forward. Edmundo, and the goalkeeper's there. Amazing. Kojima, who was 40 yards from home a moment or two ago, suddenly was in the right spot at the right time.
I thought there was a pitch invasion there, Martin, for a second. He was nearly in our gantry. I don't know what he was doing there, but he got himself out of jail at the finish. Only just.
Well, he could easily have been heading off, sent off.
Yeah, the referees handled it very sensibly.
The time was given to him by the time it took for Edmundo to weave his way through to release the shot. It was just long enough for Kojima to get back.
Yes, it was. There's an air of a practice match about it in some ways, and I don't think defensively that's a good thing for Brazil. They've always got this flair and ability to play free, but I'm not too sure.
But they always pride themselves on their defensive record, of course, which is very capable in the World Cup and the cornerstone of their eventual success.
That's right. Whether we're trying to pick holes in it here, but there does seem opportunities and spaces, and Brian Robson will, I'm sure, be looking at this very closely and having one or two thoughts.
Well, Zagallo's emphasising his thoughts because he wants to make a change. That's Leonardo. Of course, we saw in the World Cup until he flashed an elbow in the face of Ramos of the United States. He's got a 4-game suspension. Here's Ronaldo. Roberto Carlos supporting inside him this time. Dunga. Jorginho goes outside him. Edmundo. This crafty character who loves to run up defenders with the ball. Jorginho. Jorginho again. Edmundo again. Timing a tackle. A precise business. In that area where Ihara stuck out a leg. Edmundo, Juninho was going in. The ball had rolled behind for the corner before the cross came in.
Interesting in a very open game, and one really suited to forwards because there is space for both sets of forwards to play. That Ronaldo, who we've heard so much about, Martin, really hasn't imposed himself on this, has he?
And Juninho's been taken off. Remember, of course, he played only 2 days ago, like the vast majority of this Brazilian side, of course. And on comes Leonardo, straight into the action. The corner's played to him. He whips it in towards Marcio Santos, who fought for the second ball as well.
Quite a nice first touch for him there, Leonardo.
It's a canny way to use a substitute. Caught Japan out.
Sneaking in from the dugout now.
Leonardo is very popular with the English media because, of course, he does speak English, as you've heard in George Gavin's reports. He's taken a gamble with his career. He went to Japan at the age of 24 to not really just broaden his international horizon, but broaden the bank balance.
Yeah, I think he's done that, and I think he was saying earlier today that they have to wait and see what effect it will have on his career. The ball scooting away again there on the pitch, which has played magnificently, and it's easy sitting up here, as we know, but there is so much space for both teams to play that one of the reasons why it's been so enjoyable, I think.
Well, it is a bit of a Japanese stereotype that as a race they are short-sighted, and a number of players do have contact lenses. Morishima. Mora out of position because of the treatment needed to his eyes, and Zinho's in again. He's rammed it into the roof of the net. Well, Japan for a moment down to 10 men with a defender off, and really you can't take that sort of risk against Brazil. The hole was there, and Zinho roared into it and struck again, and it's 3-0.
You can't really say, in a way, bad defending here. I mean, the finish is absolutely superb, and the goalkeeper stood up there and he's rifled it right in the top corner, and the 3 down to really 3 superbly struck shots. I mean, tremendous finish. You just feel that if Japan had taken half the purpose in those finishes with their chances, it could have been even more interesting. Anything could happen now.
Well, Zinho personally is having quite a night. 2 for him. And he came into the game with only 3 goals in 41 appearances. So it's not a player you would really expect to tear Japan apart with his finishing, but he's certainly done that tonight. I think that 3rd goal for Japan will go down as the curse of the contact lens.
I don't think there's been any difference there, Martin.
Side of the post. Yamaguchi's certainly shown a willingness to have a go from long range, and that was his best effort so far.
See, it has to happen. The spaces and the room that's been available for to play this evening has to favour forwards, and you're getting chances at both ends. And from the defensive point of view, defenders can't be too happy at all with the performance, because we'll say again, Brazil, the magic going forward, the creativity, but at the back there, they're giving opportunities that hopefully, if they expose us to England on Sunday, we could cash in.
Morishima's okay. Back heel for Jorginho. And Ronaldo. Still really making his way in the international game. You'd expect that at 18. And a goal would help in this tournament. He hasn't got one yet.
Yeah, I think at that age you need something like that, and he's been disappointing tonight.
Morishima goes off. Yeah, the tall striker Kurosaki comes on, as he did at Wembley.
Worked tremendously hard, Morishima, put himself about well, and he's run out of legs now.
Well, we're at the three-quarter mark in the match, and we do feel there is still more to come, whether Brazil will widen the margin of victory to the sort of scoreline that we were anticipating in the first half when they didn't take their chances, or whether Japan can be rewarded for some attempts at incisive play by getting a goal which will mean so much to their football fans, many of whom, of course, are still learning about the game back in Japan. But it really is, at the moment, a phenomenal success. Gordon Mill's been over there and been a part of that. Narahashi. Room to manoeuvre again for Japan, although the ball made them check.
One or two errors creeping into the game now, and they really can't afford this to happen. They've really got to concentrate on the passing of the ball and trying to keep calm. Difficult when 3 goals have whizzed past you like that. It's of the highest quality, and the respect they have for the Brazilians. But it's a learning process for them, and this is where you learn. You've got to show the character and dig in.
And we should stress, Gordon, that Brazil are trying to learn as well, because they've got the Copa America coming up next month. Remember, you'll see it live on Sky Sports every game. It's a terrific tournament, and Brazil don't always do very well against fellow South American nations. It'll be a terrific test for them, and they're trying to bed in this tournament for that challenge. So I'm sure Zagallo will find quite a lot to be disappointed about tonight from a coach's point of view, but those who've come here to watch the game, and all our viewers on Sky Sports, will have revelled in the glory of the goals and the goal attempts that Brazil have displayed here.
Yes, the creativity and the finishing, I think, he takes that for granted.
Here's Kazu.
The defensive aspect of the game, I think he'll be a little concerned about.
Narahashi. By Leonardo. He comes from the Klinsmann School of Diplomacy off the pitch, but is quite a crusty customer on the pitch. Plenty of Japan players forward at the free kick. It's going to be a corner.
You get the feeling from the crowd that they've enjoyed the occasion so much that they'd love Japan to get a goal, and really for their efforts and enthusiasm and creating 2 really good chances, they deserve one. You don't always get what you deserve.
Short corner. Kikusawa's done very well indeed. Off Kurosaki.
The difference you see between top-class players and, with the greatest respect, people learning the game, that again was a chance. Whether he meant the header back, we'll have to wait and see, but it was a good one.
Actually, it was Fukuda who wrapped his foot round Kurosaki to put it over the top.
Yes, he meant it. And just snatched at it. Another half a chance. They've had quite a few in this match, Martin.
Back goes Omura. Brazil about to make another change. This is another of the young brigade, Rivaldo. He played a very prominent part in Palmeiras winning the last national championship. A goal-scoring midfield player. Have a mind to bring on an extra defender in this situation. Japan still threatening, but here's Zinho. Dunga. Leonardo. It's Brazil who've really packed the finishing punch. Another chance to show that again here. Ronaldo. This is Edmundo. Uses Roberto Carlos as the decoy. Edmundo in another of his mazy runs. Zinho. And Roberto Carlos is offside. Well, Japan have been well and truly Zinho'd here. And off he goes to a terrific reception for two absolutely magnificent goals.
Substitute for Brazil, number 20, Rivaldo.
Just looking through the Brazilian team, and yeah, you'll be happy with that one.
So here's Rivaldo from Palmeiras.
One or two of them, as we said earlier, not really emblazoned themselves on the game, and Dunga's gone out of the match. He's early on he was very impressive, and I'm just looking at him there whether he was carrying a little bit of an injury, but I would have expected him at this stage, with Brazil completely in control, to really be running the show.
They're getting Leonardo on the ball more regularly now. Ronaldo. Sloppy from Roberto Carlos. Fukuda. Aldair. And the effects of playing on Sunday, most of them for Brazil. Marcio Santos played on Sunday for Fiorentina. Just perhaps beginning to show the fatigue factor.
Yeah, we sometimes have a go at our players for lacklustre performances sometimes, and the amount of games takes its toll. Interesting with Carlos, where he was flying out the hole for continually over the first 45 minutes. This half, we've hardly seen him get out of there, Martin, and he's been another one who's, you know, if you're looking at the 90 minutes, has given you a tremendous first half, but very little in the second in terms of getting into those forward positions. Maybe a little credit to the Japanese for blocking him off a bit in the second half.
And maybe because they've had an extra day's rest. Edmundo. Japan, I have to stress again, have been playing tournament football this year, which I think is a factor in comparison to England, who feel it, of course, a pretty scratch side as England teams go on Saturday. Didn't really bed in as a unit. Here is Roberto Carlos suddenly springing back into the picture again. Ihara did well to cut that out.
He delivers such a great ball there that when he gets into that position, the two strikers can break the necks to get in the box because they know something's going to come in.
Edmundo and Marcio Santos, who's chipped in with a few goals, if you remember, from the World Cup, and also was the last Brazilian to score against England in that tournament in the United States in 1993, which was, of course, meant to be a warm-up for the World Cup for all the participating countries.
Yeah. pointed one way and meant the other.
Kitasawa got into a great position. Again was going hell for leather and couldn't control it. He's in there again to glance it on. This is Kurosaki.
And there again, Martin, I mean, there's two good positions. One, the initial one, and one from the cross. And again, you feel that, you know, with a little bit more composure and belief. And looky there, he did get a touch. His first one, he had a chance.
Certainly had more of the ball in the second half. More than they had in the first half, I mean.
But on opportunities, it'll be interesting after the game to count those up. They've had too many, I think, for Brazil's liking.
Leonardo, who was in the Roberto Carlos role in the World Cup, but wants to play in the centre of midfield and dictate the flow of the traffic. That's where Zagallo's giving him his chance as a substitute here. And the crowd are calling for the Oles, but Japan are stopping some of these passing movements in their tracks. Although there have been the stretches of the game where it really did look as though they would be totally swept aside. Again, they can come off the pitch at Goodison Park tonight with their heads held high, that they've contributed to what has been a most absorbing occasion.
And I mean, to be fair, the three goals that they've conceded have been a little bit special, to say the least.
Authentically Brazilian.
Nice to see. As long as it's not against you.
Kitazawa. Tangle there between Alboir and Fukuda. Bit of push and shove on both counts, but the free kick is given to Japan by Jim McCluskey, the Scottish referee. He's been very much, you feel, in sympathy with the occasion here. Rivaldo heads it away. Well, they've got a man over. Fukuda. Mura, defended by Trey, didn't really want it, but he was prepared to chase on and battle for it against Marcio Santos. Roberto Carlos trying to flick it up to volley it away. Yamaguchi. Zetti was scurrying, and he's caught out of position now. Omura, done well. Well, a praiseworthy effort. The goalkeeper was out of position. He'd like to have been able to get it in straight away, but he had the presence of mind to get past the defender initially. Zetti going to prevent the corner.
You'd like to think, as an Englishman, and from Terry Venable's point of view and the England players, that there's going to be opportunities against this Brazilian side if they're going to play like this on Sunday, because they looked over-casual to me, and okay, the game's beyond Japan, but it's sometimes, if you get into bad habits and slack, it's not that easy to get out of those situations, and they've really allowed Japan to have far too much of the ball in the last third and create opportunities.
Tasaka's going off, and Moriyasu comes on for Japan.
Yeah, another boy did a sterling job there, apart from his one error early on, which he wouldn't be happy with, but he can be pleased with his performance.
I think one difference for Brazil, Gordon, is that Doriva hasn't been quite the imposing figure that De Cesar Sampaio was as that third central defensive player. Mauro Silva did it in the World Cup so well.
That's right. And then, you know, as we've said, I think that's an area where Zagallo won't be comfortable with after the performance tonight. But there again, you know, he may be trying one or two things, and Sunday's game will be priority for him.
Kitazawa, of course, before that, England have got to overcome Sweden. so much live football for you on Sky Sports. I'll bring you right up to date with it in a moment. But here's Ronaldo away again. Is it a fourth for Brazil? Leonardo's following in. And once more, Japan finding themselves on the wrong end of a more probing type of finishing. The shot on target, the goalkeeper forced to make the save. And if only the Japanese had been as ruthless and as accurate with their shooting, well, Brazil could have had a much closer call here. Kazu. Yasu, the newcomer, wide. Fukuda going in. And Kurosaki can't finish it off again.
Well, again, a really good delivery into the box again from the wide positions, and on first reaction, I think the fella half jibbed it again. Might be a little unfair on him there, but another clear chance, and going in positively, I think he'd got a great chance to score there.
So coming up for you on Sky Sports, starting tomorrow night, we look at the England under-21s against Latvia. Important game in the qualifying group. We start at 7 o'clock, and it's the England senior side on Thursday night at Elland Road against Sweden. Sure to be a great crowd and a great atmosphere there.
Japan
coming on strong again right to the last.
Still finding space and still got the legs to go, and a good performance from him.
Looking for Ihara to do here at Goodison Park what he did at Wembley in the near post, but Brazil were a bit more disciplined in their defending. Dunga.
And for a country who's learning the game and trying to impress and do the right things, it's sometimes a little difficult when you're in charge of a team like this and say that you've done well and losing 3-0. But the people who understand football and the coach of Shukamo for the national team of Japan, he knows the game, and he'll be proud of his players.
And do you think one or two people might temper some of the criticism that fell on England, having seen what Japan have done here against Brazil tonight, even in defeat?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we always have a go at our own lads, don't we? And you know, you need a little time in competitions to see what everybody's made of. And as we say again, it's just lethal finishing that's been the difference in the two teams when it comes to the end of it. And Japan have had just as much possession, I would have thought, in this second half. Can he roll him in? He has done. Missed his chance. But
we'll concentrate on the corner, but you've got to turn your mind for a moment to think about a man of the match, so I'll let you deal with that as Japan play the corner a bit shorter this time. Moriyasu. Ronaldo needed to head it away. Bold burst by Narahashi, finding himself on the left-hand side. Now scurrying back to his proper place.
It's interesting, isn't it, in football? Japan have tried to get down the sides when they're 3 goals down and had some joy from it. If they'd have done that early in the game, when it was even Steven,
they could be in real trouble here. Rivaldo, outnumbered. Ronaldo. Goalkeeper turned it aside. Plaudits for Kojima all the way along the line here. He's had a stormer of a game in Japan's goal, but for him it might have been 7 or 8.
You can see how desperate Ronaldo is to score there. He's nothing else on his mind but to have a goal. Do so much for a young player when he's trying to establish himself at this level.
Dunga left in space on the edge of the area, and that's a pretty routine save in the context of what's come before for Kojima.
2 goals.
Marcio Santos. Leonardo. Here's Kurosaki. Fukuda. Tall Kurosaki going into the centre. Cross needed a bit higher, be a bit higher to reach him. Well, as you pointed out, Gordon Dunga's really down to walking pace now, but he's not wanted to go off.
No, he looked to be carrying something there, and he doesn't look the type that would go off a pitch easily, Martin. And but he's not really had a major influence on the game.
Time for man of the match.
Well, I think really it's been a really entertaining game, and there's 1 or 2 in the Japanese team who deserve a lot of credit, but we have to give it to a Brazilian, and we have to give it to the man who provided the rocket finishes, I think, Martin. It's to see goals of that quality, and on a night when we wanted something like that to happen, I think Zinho has to be the man.
Zinho of the Yokohama Flugels, of course.
Yeah, he'll be very popular when he gets back. I think that'll put another 2 years on his contract.
Maybe that was in his mind tonight. Certainly played with a rare purpose and provided a finish that's been consistent in his international career. But very much a World Cup winner. So Zinho, the Umbro man of the match, voted for by Gordon Mill tonight. Well, a game full of colour, full of panache. Ideal conditions for attacking play, and the effort put in by both sides here on Merseyside tonight, warmly received by the Goodison Park crowd. Well played, Kojima again. He's certainly another one when you talk about maybe Japan's man of the match.
Yeah, well, he's one that came to mind, and you know, under pressure with his first game, and he's had a tremendous match. Apart from his little moment of madness when he had a little bit of a walkabout. I think a credit to the game as well, Martin, is the fact that, you know, not too many people have left the seats, have they? And you know, on a night when the weather conditions have not been the best for them, it's a credit to them, it's a credit to the match, and what we said earlier, it just makes you aware of bringing international games out of the city and into the provinces, doesn't it? Look at that.
That's a great attendance.
I mean, that's wonderful.
Brazil continuing an unbeaten run, which goes back to November '93 when they lost to Germany in Cologne. A record that England may have to end if the Umbro Cup is to stay in this country. This goal difference could be a factor, and if Brazil came second on goal difference, they'd be annoyed with some of the chances they've got away from them tonight. We're in stoppage time. 2 wins in 3 days for Brazil to put them on top of the table in the Umbro Cup. Goals all with the Brazilian stamp. The first from Roberto Carlos, then 2 from Zinho in the second half to reward a terrific attendance here at Goodison Park. He came to see the Brazilian swagger, They've seen that, so they've also seen more indication of the Japanese development. A second defeat for Japan. A contest between two countries with very close football ties. How well Kojima played on his debut. Really the masters against an emerging nation and the anticipated outcome. But my word, it's been marvellous fun watching it all unfold here. Japan made life embarrassing for England. They could have done it for Brazil. They wasted a number of opportunities which will have been noted, I'm sure, by Terry Venables and his coaching staff.
A tremendous ovation there for the Japanese team, and truly merited. It's really heartwarming to see that, and the Goodison crowd tonight, and the people of Liverpool, and no doubt the north of England, have really enjoyed the game and have shown their appreciation and realised, you know, a daunting task that Japan had. But they've come out of the game with tremendous credit, Martin, and I'm sure that at the end of this tournament they can go from strength to strength.
Now the attention switches to Elland Road, England against Sweden on Thursday, with a Terry Venables team then, I'm sure, very determined to improve on last Saturday's showing, and out to match Brazil with a second win and really set up Sunday's final match in the Umbro Cup. It's finished 3-0 here. Back to you, Richard.
Thank you, Gordon Milne and Martin Tyler, of course, at Goodison Park. A thoroughly enjoyable night. 3-0 to Brazil. Looking back on some special goals when we come back in the company of Barry Venison and Jerry Francis.